If you're trying to figure out how to strum your guitar without a pick, well, you're in the right place. Today we're going to break down 4 techniques on how we can achieve this effortless strumming, all without a pick. Let's get into it. Strumming your guitar without a pick can definitely feel weird at first, but once you understand the different techniques and start becoming familiar with the feeling, it will of course become easier over time. So the reason why I love playing without a pick is just the variety and the variation you have all on your fingertips, right? You can achieve all these different sounds of just playing with your hands, whether it's just soft, delicate strumming, or maybe more of a firmer sound, or maybe you want that kind of brighter sound where you get your fingernails involved a little bit more. And of course, you can just finger pick as well if that's something that you want to do. And I'll probably make a video of that in the future if you guys are interested. But yeah, there are just so many different variations. But today I'm just going to show you 4 techniques to get you started. So for this first technique, we're just going to be using our thumb. This is a great place to start to be strumming with your fingers. And we're just going to be using the fleshy part of our thumb, the inside here, strumming down on the guitar. And also coming back up, we're going to be using that same part of the thumb too, if you can. So it's going to be sounding a little bit something like this. Right. You will find that sometimes your thumbnail might get in the way coming back up, and that's going to produce a bit more of a brighter kind of tone. I recommend just trying to focus on using the fleshy part of your thumb on the way down and on the way back up on both strokes. This is going to produce a nice kind of warm, kind of smooth kind of sound. But if your thumbnail does get in the way, don't worry about it. Just keep practicing to hit that sweet spot there. So there are a few ways you can play with this particular style. You can just gently move your wrist, keeping your arm nice and relaxed over the body of the guitar, and just gently moving your wrist up and down like this. Just brushing the strings. If you feel like you want to put more movement into the forearm, that's fine too, right? That might take a bit more practice to make sure you're hitting the fleshy part of the thumb. Like I said, you will find you'll sometimes graze that fingernail. You might even find your thumb might get stuck coming up on the upstrokes. So just be sure just to really be careful on kind of placing that thumb, just brushing it gently against the strings, not attacking it too hard. I do find some people can come back up and just get their thumb kind of stuck, but if you keep your wrist nice and loose, you shouldn't have any problem. And another way you can also play this, you can rest your fingers all on the body of the guitar here. So it's kind of anchored down, and then you could just move your thumb. I've never really strummed like this before. I find it a little bit awkward for me. I like getting my wrist involved a bit more, but this could be a good place to start if it's the first time you've strummed with your thumb before. But yeah, there's no real perfect way to play, guys. I just recommend what technique feels the best for you. Have a muck around with those 3 techniques and see how it works best. So the next technique we're going to use is your index finger. So this is going to produce a slightly different sound because of the downstrokes. Your fingernail is going to get a bit more involved, and it's going to create that kind of more brighter, attacking kind of sound to it. I mean, you could also play it like that. You could use the fleshy part of your index finger too, if you like. That's going to give it a very soft, delicate sound, which can also work for certain songs. Personally, I have never played it like that. Every time I'm playing with my index finger, I'm always strumming down with my fingernail like this. But again, have a muck around with that, see what works best for you. If you feel like you want to use the fleshy part of your index finger, you can, just like that. You have to be a lot more precise with that kind of strumming. Just feels a bit awkward for me personally, but yeah, again, have a muck around and see what works for you. So the way to play this one, guys, it really does probably come down to how loud and the style of song you're playing, right? You could give this one minimal wrist movement if you're looking for something a bit more delicate, right? Just do soft little movement with your wrists. But again, if you're playing something a bit heavier, you could put a bit more force into it, right? Just using the index finger. I do like this way of strumming because you don't have to be as precise, right? You can kind of just flick your wrist a bit and really be kind of attacking, a bit sharp with those, particularly those downstrokes. But you're not as precise if you're just using the fleshy part of your finger. But again, it does depend on what song you're playing. So see what works best for you. It really, again, I'll keep saying there's no real perfect kind of strumming technique. Whichever one works best for you, everyone's going to feel differently when they pick up the guitar. So give that a crack and see how you go. So for this next technique, what we're going to be doing is pinching our index and our thumb together like you're holding an invisible pick. And you want to leave a tiny tip on the end of your index, and this is what we're going to be strumming our strings with, right? So it kind of feels like you're using your index finger as the pick itself in some way. This is probably going to feel very natural for players that already use picks, right? Because you'll be used to this technique. But this is a great one for players that kind of want that more dynamic range and that much more bigger strumming sound, right? And it's going to sound something like this. So you'll find with this technique that your wrist and even your forearm will probably get a lot more active in this particular strum because it feels like you're using a pick, right? And you're attacking the strings a lot harder. I use this technique quite a lot, particularly when I'm playing on stage and I've already got a pick in my hand. And if I drop that pick and it goes flying somewhere never to be seen again, this is the exact technique I would use. I'll pinch my fingers, pretend I'm using a pick, and I can really thump those strings quite hard. And it doesn't really make too much more of a difference, right? So for our final technique here, and this is particularly my favorite, we're going to be using both thumb and index in this strum, right? So strumming down with our thumb and up with our index finger. And it will sound something like this. So down with the thumb, up with the index. I like this technique because you just have a lot more versatility with it, right? You can do a lot more with it. You can play nice and quiet, you know? You can play loud. You can play kind of melody-driven songs, you know, getting more fingers involved. With chords over the top. You can use both skin with the thumb, and you can strike down a bit harder using the fingernail of the index finger. You just have a real nice combination of dynamics and tone, and I just feel like, yeah, you have a lot more control with it. So with this particular technique, you can play it a couple of ways. To get started, you might just want to rest your fingers or the rest of your fingers on the body of your guitar here, and just getting your thumb and index, thumb down and index up. Just resting those fingers there. So you can play it that way, but probably the most common would be to get your wrist involved and just keeping your hand nice and steady and just gently brushing the strings on the way down and the way up with both your thumb and index like this. Always keeping that hand moving. You can practice the very common strumming pattern, which would be down, down, up, up, down, up. So right, using your thumb for the down strokes and index for the up strokes, right? So you can go down, down, up, down, up, So the only other thing I would say, guys, is just try to be careful with your finger placement, particularly coming back up on the strings, right? Sometimes you can grab too much string and get your finger caught underneath. It's really common, particularly when you first start out, but if this happens, it's probably because you got too much finger on the string, right? Or could be also the angle that you're coming in on the strings, okay? So this will take some practice and to find that sweet spot that works for you. But I recommend you just try to keep your fingers relaxed as possible and just gently brushing the strings like this. And that will be a great place to start. So give that one a go, guys. I know it does take a bit of time to play with your fingers, but it does give you a lot more control with your playing, right? It gives you more dynamic range, gives you instant kind of tone control. It just gives you more feel around the guitar as opposed to just playing with the pick. But I'd love to see how you get on with them. Let me know how you go. And we'll leave it there for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. And yeah, if you got any value out today, please hit that subscribe button for me. And I'll catch you out in the next video. Cheers.